Hey, it's Elizabeth, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. Today, I would like to talk about hairstyling and expression some more, about being androgynous. So we went over my last video of like how I felt, but I'd like to talk a little bit more in depth and how it came out and how I realized it. I don't hear too many people talking about how they realize it, it's just how they are now. And I want this to be a little bit educational and kind of share my experience and hope it helps you. I first found out about androgyny when Ruby Rose, before it was on Orange Is the New Black, I just like saw her somewhere. I don't really remember where. I think I was getting into like DJing, and I somehow came across her music on like SoundCloud, and I loved it. But aside from that, I saw her. And it hit me, like, I loved the way she dressed, and I don't know what it was, but there wasn't an attraction, it was just, I wanted to be that, and I couldn't figure out what it was, so I found interviews, I found anything I could, and found out that she identified as gender fluid, and I was like, I'm gender fluid, I must be that. I didn't tell anyone, I was doing my own research for myself, I was too afraid to admit this to anyone, I was still in the closet, this was my freshman or sophomore year, I think my freshman I identified as bi. To kind of explain this is just my whole, I guess, expression story and how I found out about my gender. At this time, I was dressing very androgynously, not knowing it, which is just the mix of female and male fashion, and how I expressed myself was both. But I fully went by she, her pronouns, never thought of doing anything else. I have always, since I was a kid, struggled with my gender. I know if I was a kid, I would have fully transitioned if that was allowed. I grew up in the South, and I grew up in a household that wouldn't have supported that whatsoever. I dressed, not even just tomboy, I dressed as a boy, and I thought of myself as a boy, and I grew up thinking I was a guy, up until I was about 12 years old. So, and that's when it finally changed, and I tried to go full feminine, everything, and it didn't work out. I was unhappy, and eventually I found a happy medium. It was a lot of struggling, but then I found out, Ruby Rose, and turned more gender fluid, and I loved the idea. And then I found out about androgyny, and that's when I finally kind of felt right about myself for once. I never felt fully one or the other, and I didn't know about non-binary at the time. That wasn't as big back then as it is now. So, androgyny and gender fluid is in the non-binary like umbrella term, which means it doesn't fully go under female or male on the binary spectrum. It's kind of in the middle or kind of completely off the spectrum. And anyone can present themselves being non-binary. You can go by any pronoun. What's so great is that you don't have to put a label on it. For me, androgyny just works, kind of fits me. I wasn't trying to fit it. That's the difference. Don't try and fit into any label. If it fits you, then great, you can take it. Androgyny fits me to an extent. I mean, nothing's gonna be perfect for you. For me, identifying as a lesbian works for me. That's my experience, and that's what I stick with now. But an important thing to remember is that your gender expression and sexuality can change. It can change with body chemistry, it can change with like puberty growing up. For me, it really didn't. And how I would identify as a kid, I would have taken that. I would have 100% gone with that label and stuck with it throughout, I guess, my adult life. Had I known about it sooner. And it's educating others and not being afraid to challenge your own gender, especially if you're struggling with it. If you're really unhappy, then there's some reason. For me, I had a lot of, not guilt, but jealousy of men and their muscles. To me, working out, having a body that was masculine, but also feminine with hips and a chest, I completely loved. Some days I wear like a binder, which is a device that's like a sports bra and like flattens my chest. And it's made me more confident some days, and that can go with any gender. I know people who are cis female and wear binders because it makes them feel way more confident. Now in high school I started wearing button-ups, and I love that androgynous feel to it. Wearing joggers or men's jeans that were more straight leg. just those little things just really worked for me. And I knew I didn't want to transition. And that's the difference, is that I had no problem identifying as female, and I had no problem saying I was a lesbian, and I was gay, because that's what fits me, and it made me feel confident owning that label and calling myself that, because it worked out. I didn't come out, though, until I was, I was 16, and I was dating a girl, and I had asked her to the prom, and I videotaped it, and I had always struggled with my gender, or not my gender, but my sexuality, and always denying it for so long. I should have known if I had known what it was earlier, and if the education came out, I would have been a lot happier in my life, but I didn't know about it, and there's no one to blame, really, but the education system, and that's it. You can't blame yourself for not knowing. So, found out what it was and started experimenting more. I didn't kiss a girl until until like a year or two after fully realizing I was gay, because I want to be completely sure before I came out. And that was just my personal preference. You can do whatever you want, just whatever makes you happy. And that's the important part, is just being happy and being confident in yourself. So yeah, I had a video of me proposing to this girl that I liked. For the promposal, and I posted on Facebook, and made only so certain people who already knew I was gay knew about it. Well, some people didn't realize that only certain people could see it, and I should have said something about it, but I didn't. I was in school the next day after I proposed that night, and I got a call, because I worked at my mom's shop, that from the people who worked there, that were my friends, saying that there were people coming up to the shop to tell her to see how she was doing, because I came out. I had not come out to my mom, though. She was the last person to know, ever. So, I had had a lot of pressure from family, and not from friends, but from family members to tell her, and that was very wrong, and it made me so ashamed and hide even more. No one should ever feel pressured. I was not ready. I was going to be, but that was not the time. I would have waited another year, and I should have, and I wish I did, but I wanted to be the one to tell her, because at that point I was outed, and being out is the scariest thing, because there's nothing you can do. But what was even scarier was being outed, and me having to do it not ready. So I went up there, and I had to leave school immediately. I left, and I drove up to her shop, and I told her, and she didn't accept it right away, and I knew she wouldn't. There was denial for, I think, a few months. And then she finally came around to it, and I want to say, like, if you've been outed, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No one should ever have to go through it. No one should even have to come out. You should just be able to say it and be automatically accepted. My heart goes out also to anyone who's ever had to come out with their gender, that they are trans. I know I haven't even told my family yet that I identify as a different gender than I was assigned. So, I know there's still talk. I went to go visit my family last week, about my own chest, and I haven't told them that one day I'm just gonna probably take it off. Who knows? And that's I shouldn't have to feel that way. Even though I'm fully accepted in my sexuality now, I know I will be judged, and I know that would be a hard conversation to have with my mom. So, I haven't said it. And so, I really feel for people out there who have had to come out and are still in the closet. I know plenty of my friends who are, over the age of 21, who still have to come out. And they're so afraid to. I know people who have snuck testosterone and hormones, and that's a struggle. And I'm so sorry for that. So besides all that, that's where I'm at now, and I'm still questioning my gender, because why not? It's fun. It's also shocking and not fun. But experimenting and having fun and, going to college, people learn a lot. it's getting educated on things in their small hometown that they didn't. I grew up in a small town in South Carolina. It was very frowned upon to be anything different. I was very lucky because I got that when I was a younger age and I was identifying as a guy. And that came with its bad perks, you could say. But that helped me going on to high school and not being ridiculed because everyone was like, she's gay, and she's been gay for so many years. You know, no amount of bullying now is going to change that. So, you know, if you have not come out, you got this. Do not come out until it's safe to do so, please. Another thing is, you're going to hear this a lot, it gets better. Yeah, it does. It does. And the difference is that it's not that after you come out or after the ridicule, it's, of course, that's going to get better after that. But, plan for it. I plan to never tell anyone, escape to California, and live my life there, be a YouTuber, and, that's not how it worked out. And I'm glad. I'm still going to California, I'm going to LA, but under a lot better circumstances. Also, you know, the future for me is I might take testosterone in the future, low doses, just to make my body feel right, to prevent dysphoria, which is the my brain and how I perceive myself and my body does not match. So my gender and how I see myself and feel does not match the body I am in. And that, you know, that some people it can be completely changed through no hormones and working out, which is what I've been trying to do and working on. But, you know, it's hormones may also help, you know, make me feel better. Who knows? You know, if you have that resource out there available for you and you're curious about it, go talk to someone. Seriously. Getting appointments set up for myself. So, try. There's no harm in trying. There's no harm in also getting help if you don't know. But yeah, if you ever have any questions or if you ever want me to have a video response to anything, I'm in the comments section here. I am on Instagram. I'm always available on Instagram. I'm always on the DMs. So just hit me up with a DM. I am always on there. I have a podcast where I talk about gender and things. It's not the main point of it, but it does come up. So I really hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I hope this has helped you. Have a great day.